This video is 6 things you might be forgetting to include in your pricing for your wedding invitation clients, and we definitely want to make sure you include all of these things and get paid for them. So let's dive in. Hi, I'm Laney. I'm a wedding invitation designer, and I love to teach invitation designers how to run profitable, successful businesses on their own terms. I have a course called Power in Pricing that's going to teach you how to price more confidently, how to be comfortable with your pricing, how to price quickly so that you're not investing a ton of time in it, and overall just all of the theory around how you can use pricing to improve your business. I hope you'll check it out. The link is in the description of this video. All right, so today I'm going to tell you about 6 things that you might not be including in your pricing, and I'll give you a hint ahead of time. 4 of them are time-based. So we'll start with the things that aren't time-based, and then we'll get into those. So the first one that I think a lot of people aren't charging correctly for is extras. If a client orders 100 invitations and I can just order 100, put them in our box, great, that's awesome. However, most of the time you need to at least order like 105 so that you have an extra for if you provide a bride and groom set, if you keep one as a sample, if any of them might have a bent corner or a piece of schmutz in the paper that you have to get rid of, etc. So you always want to make sure you're incorporating those extras into your cost. This also applies if you're doing multiple processes. So if my client needs 100, but I need them die cut, letter press, duplex, any of those things, then I often need to order 15 to 20% extra in addition to those 5 extra that I need as samples, etc. So then I have to order 105, plus 15% if I'm doing a different process, plus 20% there, etc. And then sometimes you have to order things in quantities of 10, 50, 100, whatever it is. So you need to make sure the client is paying for all of that and that you're not paying for that. If a client needs 5 yards of ribbon and you have to buy a 30-yard spool, you need to make sure you're charging them for the full 30-yard spool plus shipping, because you can't just order 5 yards of that ribbon. So they need to pay for it. Even if you think you might be able to use it in the future, if it's not a guaranteed thing, then that client needs to pay for it. If you are combining orders that can both use that same ribbon, for instance, then you can charge a little bit differently, but you still want to make sure that you're covering the full cost of everything that you have to buy. The second one, I kind of mentioned this earlier, is the shipping. So we often charge for shipping to the client. We have that as a separate line item, but do we always include all of the shipping to us? And if that has to come from 6 different vendors in order to make this suite happen, we need to be charging that in not the shipping line item, but in the other line items that we are using. So if we're paying for shipping of the ribbon, we need to include that in the ribbon line item. If you're able to combine orders, that's a way that I love to save costs, but I still make sure I price every order as if I'm not able to, because I never know when it comes time to order that. If they delay and I've already ordered this other one that I was planning to combine with, I'm not gonna be able to do that. So I always price every order as if I'm going to have to pay one shipping charge, from every vendor I'm using. But if I'm able to combine those, then that's just extra money in my pocket, and that's great. Okay, these last 4 are about time, and I think that if you start calculating all of your time, there's probably some things you're missing. So first of all, I'm going to talk about email time. This is something that you are investing into people that you don't end up booking with, but you are definitely investing in all the people that you book with. So any of that kind of admin upfront time, if they are someone who sends a lot of emails or a lot of very long detailed emails, then you might want to increase like your design fee, your assembly time, however you kind of price that out. There's a lot of information on that in the course as to how you should divide that out. But you should include a little extra time for those people if you know there's going to be a lot of emails back and forth, because that is time that you deserve to get paid for. Number 4 is consult time. This is an interesting one because you don't necessarily have to directly charge for it, but it is something that you should include either as kind of a marketing fee, or it's something that you can charge for if you're doing a lot of them for people who don't end up booking. Some people charge like a refundable consult fee because they see people who are no-showing a lot, and especially if they do these in person, it's really time intensive. You're setting aside a whole hour for this person and then they don't show. They need to put some skin in the game by paying for that fee, and then when they book you, they can take that money off of the final invoice or something like that. So there's a lot of different ways that you can calculate for consult time. In general, I like to just add a little bit onto my design fee for every client that I book. That's going to cover all of the consults that I do, whether they are the ones that book me or the ones that don't. Number 5 is ordering time. I see a lot of people calculating kind of email time, design time, but it takes a lot of time to order this stuff. You have to do so much math to figure out exactly how much ribbon you need, how many spools you have to order it in, all the different vendors, especially with people being out of things so much lately. It's hard. It takes an hour or so plus to order almost every single invitation order that I put through. So I need to make sure I'm including that time. When I'm calculating my design fee, I always include an extra hour of time for ordering and other admin stuff. Number 6 is driving time. I think it's one that a lot of people forget, because if you go pick up your prints at a local printer, if you go pick up ribbon at Michael's or Joann's or something, it feels faster. It feels easier because you don't have to wait 3 days for it to get here. You don't have to worry of it getting lost in the mail. You just go and you have it in your hand an hour later. But like where I live in Denver, there's a lot of traffic. My closest Michael's is at least a 20-minute drive away. So that's like an hour extra of time that I'm spending on this order. Whereas if I was just ordering something online, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and it's done. So I want to just encourage you to stop thinking of like local things you can pick up as easier and faster just because you get them faster. Even like a local printer, I used to use a local printer when I lived in North Carolina and it was 30 minutes away, but I ended up stopping using that printer because it was taking me an hour every single time I wanted to pick something up. And even though that felt faster to me because I had the prints in hand, it actually was costing me more money than just planning the extra 2 days for shipping into my normal timelines and just waiting for those to come to me. It saved me a ton of time not having to drive an hour to get those every day. So as a reminder, those 6 things that you may not be accounting for in your pricing are extras, shipping, email time, consult time, ordering time, and driving time. I hope that you'll see that there's a lot of things on time that we might not be including in our design fee or however you kind of bill your time on your invoices. There's a lot more information about this in Power and Pricing. If you want to check that out, the link is in the description of this video. But I hope this helped you kind of consider some things that you might not actually be getting paid for that you thought you were. So happy pricing, everyone. Check out the link in the description if you want to dive deeper on this and watch some of our other videos while you're here all about wedding invitation design. Thanks, everyone.